Hello, this is Laurel with the dabbling hook. How are you? It is a cold and rainy and dreary Saturday. Today is the 24th? No, 23rd, I believe. Anyway, this is just me trying to keep up with my makes and sharing it with you on a more regular basis. So I am just trying to record videos as I have the chance and as I remember. I'm squinting because everything's blurry. I had a sleep in today, and a really long sleep in. There's nothing to do, so it's rainy. I stayed in bed and I decided to get my butt up, and now everything is just blurry. And I've tried both my glasses, my progressives. Everything's still blurry. Like down here is for reading up close, but I can't see you guys, or I could see you but it's just blurry, and up here it's for distance and it's just blurry, so that's not working. So I tried my regular distance glasses, and it's really blurry, so I'll be squinting basically. I desperately wanted I shouldn't say desperately, it makes me sound like I have a problem, but I really wanted a glass of wine. But I know if I drank one, even though it's chilled outside and it's comfortable here, I would start sweating in no time. So water. Ugh, water. Anyway, this is just a continuation. I have like I said, I'm still on my shawl kick, so it's all I want to make shawls. And I did get a little bit, repetitive in that feel. I needed something different, something quick, so I did sneak in another hat, and then to try to use up that yarn, I started a cowl to go with the hat. Both of those are knitted, but in doing so, obviously I didn't have enough. Well, it should have been obvious, but I didn't have enough one of the yarns to finish the cowl. So I stopped by Joann's on my way from work. It was my office week last week, or this past week, to get another one of those. It is the, what is it? Party. The Joann, hang on. Big Twist Party. And I think I showed this in my last clip. I think. Did I? I don't know. Oops. Yeah, lighting. Like I said, the ring light is behind the camera and it's just dreary out today. So anyway, I stopped on my way home from work to get one other skein to finish the cowl. And then I would have had even more yarn left over when I finished the cowl, which I haven't. But they only had 3 of the parties left. So 2 of those were the ones I wanted, which is the jelly bean color. And then they had one of the canyon color. That one. So if you see the 2 of them together, that's that. So one of this and 2 of these, so I can finish the cowl. So I did buy some yarn, and then I bought some Dollar Tree yarn. I went in there for something specific. I think it was like toothpaste or something. I don't know. But you have to go down the yarn aisle to see what they have. And I just bought, they didn't have this color before of the chenille. So I bought that. Some of the light green. And yellow. Why? Who knows? But I did get this, which is, they've had before, the Just Yarn Plush. And I've seen a lot of people have been making some of the amigurumis out of yarn similar to this, so I figured I'd give it a try. So I got 2. I think this was the only colorway they had, which is blush. It's very light pink. Almost beigey, or at least in this light. Anyway, I bought yarn I shouldn't have. All that to say. Oh, also, when I went to Joann's, they had all the blanket yarns, and I haven't had this color yet, and I'm like, ooh, that will make some great Mabel chickens. So I got this one, which is Woodland Tweed. So it looks really, really nice. And this, you know, it may be dreary out here, but this is picking up pretty spot on. So there you go. So I have that. Not that I needed it again. So anyway, again, I digress. So I have one hat and a few shawls. So I showed this hat before in a different colorway. I'm pretty sure I didn't show this one yet, but it's just another latte and the party yarn. And if I showed it, oops, and here it goes again. So this is how they work together, and I absolutely love it. So I'm going to do the same with the Canyon colorway of that. So, and then it could be, the brim could be turned up, so it's a much shorter, like beanie style, opposed to, you know, something with a slight slouch. One hat. So the two other things I didn't show last week, and then the other things I'm going to show. I like Mandala Ombre. I love it, actually. I love the way it changes, and I love the feel of it. Although if you do work with it with clothing, it does tend to stretch or bloom a bit once you wash it, but it's still soft and just lovely. But because I like them so much, that I decided to make a shawl out of each colorway. And that's an idea I got from, I think her name is Tansy from Crime Scene Knits. She hasn't made a video in a while. Lana, maybe she has, because I haven't been watching a lot of videos. She makes it out of the mandala yarns, and I think, did she say she was up to 20? I'm not sure, but she's made a lot of shawls, and it's the basic like boomerang style shawl. So I'm doing the same and knitting one, and I am up to 3 or 4. I'm on the 4th, I think. I've done 3. So all this to say, using stash. This shawl I started, it's a free shawl, it's a free pattern on Ravelry. It is by Ladybird something. I will put it on the screen, and there'll be a link to the pattern below. She has a YouTube channel. She started doing knitting, and then she really got into cross stitching, so I think that's where she is mainly now. But it is her what's it called, mainstay shawl, mainstar, off the top of my head, and I don't have my phone near me, so I can't tell you what it is. My phone's over there in a bag. Anyway, it's a free pattern, it's a knitted pattern, and again, it's another it's an asymmetric shawl. So I wanted to use up hand-dyed yarn I bought from a local to the state. I think she's local to Boston area or somewhere around there. Anyway, her colors are so saturated and they're so me. It's full of color. So I bought a bunch of her yarns, and they've just been sitting there. So when we went on vacation last year, and I'm gonna have to take this sweater off, cardigan off, because holy moly, I'm burning up. When we went on vacation, I took this as my vacation project, one of my vacation projects, and I didn't bring all the yarn. I think I brought just one of the yarns with me, figuring knitting's slow, it takes me a while to get going, I'll be on vacation doing other stuff. I ended up running out of yarn, or running out of that skein before I was, before we left. But anyway, I used 3 different colorways, and I'm so hot right now. Holy moly. I'm gonna go, the heat, I can hear the heat on. I'm gonna turn that off before I totally melt in front of you guys. I'll be back. Okay, so what was I saying? We had snow Wednesday morning when I was going to work. No, Thursday morning when I was going to work. By the time I came home, it had turned into rain, and then we were supposed to get snow today, some snow, and yesterday, Friday, at the end of the day, there was a little bit of flurries coming down, but it didn't really snow. But it did get cold, and now it's just rain, and it's cold. Anyway, that's the weather report. So the yarn is from Beach Bum Yarns Yarn Co. And like I said, it's full of color. So if I remember the colorways correctly, so here's the shawl. First of all, I finished it. It's full of color, and it just makes me happy. As soon as I posted, a friend said, you know, she wanted to know if it was for sale, and I'd already said before when I had shown it that I wasn't planning on selling, because I know no one would buy it at the price I'd want to charge, because it's almost $100 worth of yarn in there, and the amount of time it took, and you know, I know I wouldn't be able to sell it to just anybody, and I didn't want to keep taking it to craft fairs and back and forth. So I told her that and told her how much it's going to be. So, and I pretty much knew she wouldn't want to spend that much anyway. So anyway, here's the shawl. I hope this is pretty much, well, it's doing it some justice. It's lightening up a bit, but this is one colorway, and over here it starts to go into the next colorway up through here, and then we start going into the next colorway, and it ends with this. So like I said, it's asymmetric. It is stockinette. I do like my garter, which is what I'm doing for the mandala ombre ones. I do like the garter squish, but stockinette does give it that like light, floaty, airy feel to it. So here is called Tannenbaum. Oops. So green, I guess the Christmas theme, but this has a lot of pinks in it, which you normally, you know, I guess not see in the Christmas colors, but this is Tannenbaum, the green. And then this colorway is called sleigh bell ringing, or sleigh. I will put them on the screen hopefully, but here is sleigh bell, and you can see where some of the blue pooled and some of the pink pooled. So that's that there up through here, and then I started striping it in, and they're so similar you can't really tell, but here he started striping in, and then I ended in Mikasa Sukasa. So that's the one with the orangey tones to it, but it's just all the colors, and I just, yes, I love it. I love it. I love it. Since, you know, now is not the time to wear it, I may actually, just to one of my first craft fair, bring it with me and see if any. So that will be back down in September, if there's any interest in it. But then I'm more than happy to keep it for all mine. Okay, the next one is part of my Make 9, and this was number 4. Is it number 4? 1, 2, 3. I think number 4. I think this is number 4. So this is the rainbow something. I don't have my phone. Hang on. Okay, since I brought up the my phone and brought up the project, it was like I said, Beach Bum Yarn Co. And for that previous shawl, it was the colorway Sleigh Bells Are Ringing. Tannenbaum was the green one, the first one. Sleigh Bells Are Ringing, and yeah, Mikasa Sukasa. So those were the colorways. And then for this, this was number 3 that I just showed, and it's called Skylark in Wonderland. And I apologize if I showed it. I don't think I did. But again, I'm doing these in clips, and I don't remember what I did when and where. So hopefully I'll put a picture of what caught my eye. Again, it was color. It was like a rainbow theme with the yarn, and that caught my eye, and it's been in my queue for, or my library in my queue for a long time, for years. And the original pattern is by Jessie at Home. I believe she has a YouTube channel. She doesn't post a lot, but she has a YouTube channel. But the pattern came out in 2015, and it's been in my queue for a while. But again, it's like a boomerang style shawl, but with the step or the dragon tail or the whatever it's called. But yeah, hers was, I think she used minis in a rainbow color order. But again, I was using stash, and this is another one that when I bring to the craft fair will be a higher price one, because it is Old Craftsy yarn, Cloudborne fibers, and this was their alpaca blend yarn, and it's so soft and lovely. But it was in a it had colorways with numbers, and I can't see a darn thing, or I can't focus. What's the color? Plum is a dark purple, charcoal heather, and slate heather for the light gray. So slate, charcoal heather, and plum. And I was just trying to use up this yarn. I still have two other colors. This is the DK version of the yarn. I still have 4 skeins in 2 different colorways of the worsted weight version. I just need to find a project that will that I can use it for that amount of yarn, because it's only I think it's like, for this one it's 200 yards per skein, and I don't remember what the worsted weight has. I think 173 or 1 something, I'm not sure. But anyway, like I said, starts off it actually started off here, and then it just increases on the bias kind of, and then you end up with this. So I will put a picture so you can get a better idea that I took. But yeah, and it has, obviously it has eyelets in it, so it's really pretty. The pattern photo is really eye-catching, and other people have done it in like I think one person did it in a speckled colorway, one person did it in like a lightly speckled and a darker or heavier I cannot speak. Heavier speckled colorway. But yeah, it's really pretty. And I think this one will be a little easier to wear than the typical asymmetric or boomerang style, because it gives good coverage because of the shape of it. Yeah. Lovely. So this was number 3 actually of my Make 9, and if I showed it already, I apologize, sort of. So number 4 then is, hang on. Number 4 I showed was the hitching a ride that I did. The pattern called for fingering, and I used number 5. So it's massive. It's the big schlanket size. But number 5 is another one that's been in my queue for a bit, and this one is the Raspberry Croissant Shawl by Amanda, what is her name? Andrea Cretu. And the picture that caught my eye, and I think a lot of people's eye, it's one of those swirl cakes that the color gradiates from, a darker to, is that ombre? I always forget. Is it a gradient or an ombre? I guess the ombre. From the darker color to the lighter color. So this one is in basically raspberry, which is probably why they named it. So it's a darker raspberry, lighter till it comes to a light pink colorway. Let's see if I can bring it up. So there you go. That's the one. I think a lot of people have seen it. There's a tutorial somewhere on YouTube for it, but it's a pretty easy pattern to follow. It's just you have to pay attention and count because of where these eyelets start and stop and all that, because I had to rip back a couple of times because I wasn't paying attention and I didn't have the right count. But again, this was trying to use up stash again, because part of the Make 9 is just make things that I've either bought or have been in my library or queue for a while. So, but also to use up stash, especially my hand dyed or more fancier yarns. And I hope it's not showing in camera, but I have a feeling my ring light is going because it's flickering a little. So hopefully that doesn't mean it's about to go, which will stink. But anyway, so this is my version of the raspberry croissant shawl, and people have done it in a lot have been done in that swirl type yarn, swirl cake, but people have done it in other colors. But again, I just wanted to use stash. So this is again Cloudborne Fibers Highland DK, and like I said, I used to love Craftsy. Unlike Etsy, they, along Ravelry, if you have used to be able to post sell patterns there, and if you updated it, you'd be able to get the update. Whereas on Etsy, you know, whatever pattern's there that you at the time that you buy it, that's what you get. So if I went and updated something, you would never get the update. You just get what was sold, which makes no sense for a platform like Etsy. But anyway, I digress. Mine is, like I said, Cloudborne Highland DK. It's 100% wool. And this is colorway, hold on, my colorways: Plum Heather, Magenta, and Burgundy. So Plum Heather, Magenta, and Burgundy, which is more of, it's like more of a Christmassy red, not a bright red, but more of a Christmassy red, I would call it, in Burgundy. But I just striped it. I had one skein of the plum in DK. I had about 2.5 of the magenta, and 2 of the burgundy. So yeah, and I had a little bit left of the magenta and the burgundy, and I just added tassels. So all gone from my stash. Oh, and I was saying about Craftsy, digressed myself, that when they were going out of business, they were selling all their yarns, and I went a bit crazy and I bought a lot, because I always used to buy their yarns and I loved it, and I bought a lot. So now I'm actually getting to use it. I still have quite a fair bit of yarns, trying to put it all together and have enough of a weight is, I even bought some fingering, which, you know, it must have been just on a clearance high that I was on that I bought it. But as I was saying, and it cut off, I have quite a bit. I don't know why I bought the fingering, but I have quite a, I think I have 3 or 4 skeins of fingering that I will need to use. But I got to use stash, and to me it looks like this goes, and I love it. But it'll be one that'll go to the craft fairs. I will say I've had, since my shawls have been selling the past couple of years of craft fairs, there have been quite a few people who don't mind the wool, the 100% wool. They've actually preferred it, so here's hoping that this is one of them. It's very fall, holiday color as well. It could be Valentine's-y color even, so it crosses seasons or occasions or what have you. So, and it's a very good size. All right, so that's 3 shawls down. So let me go grab my ombre shawls that I've done so far, and I'll be right back, because if I pull it, things are going to drop. All right, so ombre shawls. I've made 3 so far. I'm on my 4th one, and the first one I made, I ended up using 2 cakes, and I've decided to just do 1 cake going forward. 1, less knitting, it'll finish faster, but 2, I think I like the fact that it's a smaller, because these are all going to be for me, that it's a smaller thing that you can just, you know, wrap around, and you don't have to fuss with a whole lot of fabric. But the first one I made was in the colorway Felicity, and I'm not going in any order. Felicity is just what I happened to have had at the time that was there. I did have a few different ones in stash, but that was the closest one at the time. So I used Felicity, and I used 2 cakes, and this is the diagonal shawl from Premier. And all the shawls, they're all called something different, but they're basically the same boomerang shape, and they're all done pretty much the same. What I'm finding, I've done 3 different ones so far, and by different people, and the difference is mainly how you start it and end it, but they're pretty much it's done the same way. It's the same concept, it's just done differently. So with one of them, you knit first and then you knit front and back. With a different one, instead of knitting one, you slip one first, then you knit front and back. And then I forget what the other one was, but it's basically the same concept. So you increase here, you decrease on this round, next round you go all the way to the end, and then you increase. So it's basically one increase per 2 rounds, because even though you increase here, you decrease on that end to give it that slope, and then on the next round you increase. So it's one increase per 2 rounds, and they're all pretty much the same thing, just done slightly differently. So this is the diagonal shawl from Premier and in Felicity. So it started here. Oh, and I'm also varying, I'm going back and forth right now, the size of needle. I'm either using a 4.5 or a 5 yarn. It depends on how I feel I'm liking the fabric at the time. So I think this one was done in a 5mm. Yeah, it was done in a 5mm, and it definitely has more drape to it. And yeah. So even though it's the same yarn color, this cake, as you can see, had way more of, you know, the lighter color and only this much of the dark, whereas this cake, you know, it kind of had all the colors more throughout. But then this one just went way more of this and a little bit of that. So this is colorway Felicity, done in it's basically garter, and I love garter swish. So that was number 1. Number 2 was done in the colorway Happy, and I used a 4.5mm. I wasn't sure. I thought the fabric was a little too loose the first time here, so I went to a 4.5mm for this one. And this is the Ex-Boyfriend shawl by Jennifer Beaver, and this is the 3rd time I'm making this one, and I'll probably make it again for this ombre process. But yeah, this is my 3rd or 4th? Third time making this. One time I made it in hand-dyed yarn from Lolo did it, I think. But anyway, so I tied a knot just, I think when I was taking pictures, but actually let me untie it. So again, colorway Happy, and same concept as, they're all pretty much the same concept, like I said, just slight difference in the start and end of it. So it starts here to here, and I haven't blocked any of these, and I don't plan on blocking any of these, and it ended here. I think I ended with, I wasn't sure if I would have had enough to do another row and the bind off, so I do have a small ball left of this part of the colorway, which is a gorgeous like orangey red color, which this isn't gonna, oh, there you go, this is a bit better. I love it. So yeah, these are the colors in there. That. Oh, and then there's the lighter blue or lighter turquoise, the green, the orange, the darker turquoise, the pink, and then this. I think this one is my favorite. But yeah, another small boomerang, more scarf-like, obviously, where this one is like shawl size. And then if this is hanging, that's why I tied the knot to make it, you know, less hangy. But it's, if you want something closer to the neck, I think going with the one skein, one cake helps. And the 4.5mm gives it a tighter gauge, or a tighter fabric. So that's the Ex-Boyfriend. And then number 3 was, again, same basic shape, but it's the Handspun Boomerang Shawl. And what drew me to it, oh, and this colorway is, as I burn up, Tranquil. But the picture that drew me for this one, I actually had it in my library saved, is what I think they used two different, they used a variegated yarn and then one solid yarn, and I am tempted to do this again because I just love the way this looks. And oh, that's the ring light you're seeing, and I will probably have to put in a picture. Oh, there you go. It's just, I'll put in a picture. It's the white in between the colorway, and I love the look of it, so I'm thinking I want to do that. I might just pick out, yeah, I'll do that. I'll pick out one of my colorways, hand-dyed colorways that I have a single skein of, and then I just got to figure out a solid color. I may even have to buy a solid color somewhere. Oh, maybe I'll do it off Knit Picks, buy one of their solid colors and do that. So yeah, because I love the way that is with the, I'll have to be dealing with two yarns, but I love the effect. But this is the Handspun, what's it called again? Handspun Boomerang Shawl by Natasha Sills. And again, all these will be linked below once I post, but, and not, they're not, none of them are blocked, so the ends are a little wavy. What I did do though on my own was, at the end of each row, I always knitted through the back loop, because that last stitch always tends to be loose for me, so I knit through the back loop to make it tighter. So I'm thinking that's why it looks a little like that. I'm not sure, but either way, it doesn't really matter. It just gives it a little bit of character. But this is Tranquil. It started with pink, which is blown out by the light, and this looks very gold, but it's oh, there we go. I think that's a little better. There you go, that's better. And then it goes into a, I don't know, orangey peachy color almost, and then the light turquoise, and then this green. I actually kind of like this green, and then a purpley pink color, and then pink again, and then the gold, and back again. So yeah, I don't remember if I had any left of this. I think it was very little left of that one. But this one I did on a 5mm, and definitely you can tell the difference just by, you know, the half size, 4.5 versus 5. You can feel the difference in the fabric it makes, but I'm still not sure which one I prefer. I think I'm leaning towards the 4.5mm, but yeah, you can tell it's definitely a little bigger too, a little squishier too. Garter squish. So yeah, I'm on number 4, which is, I try to start my projects as soon as I start them, so I'll remember one, especially for crochet, if I put the hook down, what hook I'm using. I'm starting the Try Shawlette, again, another boomerang by Mel Harrison. Let's see. Yeah, this one was done that way, and again I will try to remember to put a picture, but same thing. But again, the way the yarns are, the yarns that they use, what draws me in, and that's what I'm working. This is the one that starts with a slip stitch first, so that makes it a little fiddly if you're not used to starting your item with a slip stitch. But yeah, so those are the shawls. So I'm working on my 4th boomerang, and my next make 9, which will be number 6, will be using again stash, and I have some Touch of Alpaca that I got on clearance somewhere, but I have it in charcoal and what is What's that? Can't see. Oxford Gray. So, I have the pattern printed. I don't remember what it's called. Is that it? Nope. That's the shawl I'm knitting right now. Oh yeah, it's called a Perla shawl. I don't remember by who. But that's what that's destined for. Hopefully it's enough because I'm just trying to use stash and not buy anything new. Especially based on yardage. I don't even know if this is the right yardage. But I'm planning to make it work whichever way because I want to use up the stash. So that is clip number I don't know. And I still got to go edit the others. So I think I'm going to post them separately. Just so you know there's content and I'm not doing like hours of videos trying to get it all into one. So I'm going to drink my water, cool down. Minion 1's home. He's supposed to be cooking dinner. It hasn't happened yet, and it is 5:39, so God knows when we're gonna eat. So I will talk to you guys later. Have a good one. Oh, by the way, I forgot to say welcome to any new subscribers. That should have happened in the front. And I hope you guys who've been hanging around are at least enjoying what I'm sort of back with, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye.